talking about 3 things that are cheaper in Sweden than the US of A. That is coming up. Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you, new camera, new setup, excited to do a new video. And I've been in Sweden for almost 7 years now, 6.5 at this point. And you know, there's a lot of things in Sweden that are quite expensive. It's something I've gotten used to over time, but there's 3 things that are actually cheaper that I just think are a better deal overall in Sweden than in the United States. So I'm gonna go into them. And number 1 is going to be cell phone service. Now, before coming to Sweden, I actually got my first smartphone in Sweden in 2012. But before coming to Sweden, I always had to use like phone services, and you always kind of had to get locked into a deal. And I just found phone service overall to be a lot more expensive. I feel like as a single person using a phone, it'd be very easy for my phone bill to go up to $100 to $120 because in the US they're always trying to get you locked into these plans. And when I came to Sweden, I had Convic, which is the service that I use that I like, and you just get a SIM card and you can put it in whatever phone you want. And I always found it to be the cheapest option is to buy a phone yourself cash and then put the SIM card in it and you're good to go. With that being said, I thought Convic was running a really good deal on this phone, so I pay about 595 crowns a month. So it's like I get 40 gigs of data, unlimited call and text, and 10 gigs of data within the EU, free calls and service within the EU, and all that considered, I pay about $60 US altogether. I have not seen cell phone service in the US that cheap. And keep it like this, I'm locked in a deal with this one, but even without a deal, if you did not have a deal, like if I wasn't paying for my phone, to get unlimited call and text and 40 gigs of data, it's only gonna cost me about $35 a month for the service, and I can cancel at any time. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Like, I absolutely love phone service here and not being, tied down to a contract. I think that's awesome. Number 2, internet. Internet is actually cheaper in Sweden than it is in the United States. Now, there's lots of providers, but it's pretty much like a monopoly. So I always had Comcast. And first of all, it was really hard to get cable without also getting like internet. Like, you couldn't get the 2 separately. They're always trying to sell you stuff. And when I first came to Sweden, I got the internet. But a funny story with this internet before I go into the price is when I first came to Sweden, I didn't know that my apartment had internet. So I kept going to this coffee house the first week. I didn't have a personal number, anything else. Go to the coffee house. I'm checking my email every day, I call the apartment complex once I get my first cell phone because I'm just in the country for a week, find out that I already had internet included in my rent. So that's one thing you guys should know. Sometimes internet is even just included in the rent and you don't have to pay anything more or extra. And that is a very fantastic deal. I have Comhem, and they cost I pay about 400 crowns a month, but I pay for like super fast internet. I think the regular price for internet for me was about 150 crowns. So internet by itself is between $20, and then for the high-end internet, it's like $45 to $50 for the internet. And on top of that, not only is the service cheaper, but another thing I really got to say when it comes to cell phone service and when it comes to internet, is just the overall, everything works great. Like, the internet speed is fantastic. I don't have power outages and things like that like I used to have in the United States. And this is the same really with the phone service. Just a couple years ago, I used to hit some dead zones on my phone. And now in Linköping, where I mostly stay, I haven't had any problems with any phone service cutting in and out. So one thing Sweden really does well with the technology and cost is if you're gonna get a phone or the internet, it's just a really good deal overall. It works really well. It's cost effective, doesn't cost you a ton of money, but it's awesome. So the last thing I'm gonna talk about though, numero 3. Wow, did I just do like Spanish and Swedish? Ugh. Anyways, number 3 is going to be like parks. And just nature. Nature in Sweden is free. And now what I mean by that is we have a law called Allemansrätt. And we also have national parks. Allemansrad basically means like you can just walk pretty much anywhere and camp and take care of the area as long as you are treating nature good. I was walking somewhere just recently and we had to go over a fence, and I felt weird going over this fence as I was hiking and stuff because I was on this farmer's other property, and I really didn't want to. I didn't think everyone was going to shoot me, but it's just something coming from my one culture where
I got a question for you.
Get off my property!
I will, but I got a question for you.
Get off my property!
Do you care?
like land is something we own, and it's like, this is my land, this is my property. And then the Swedish system is just so different. It's like, this is my property, but you're allowed to walk across it if you want to go somewhere. That's cool. If you want to move through freely, that's fine. I'll leave you alone. Just take care of it. Don't cause any trash. Allemansrad. It's like basically Sweden is saying you guys cannot own the nature, which I think it's kind of cool if you think about it, because how can you really own nature? Like, imagine if someone like built a house right next to Niagara Falls and was like, that, all of it is mine. All of it. That's my property. So, just think it's a fun, interesting, and exciting thing. So, Allemansrad is a really cool law. It's one that I didn't know a lot about until I first came here, until I started picking shrooms, and not those kind of shrooms, but the Swedish shrooms, which is a whole nother video for a whole nother time. But a lot of people go through and they pick up mushrooms. It's a very nice and fun experience here in Sweden, and it's like a lot of people have their spots, their secret areas, but they're everybody's property. It's all part of that Allemansrad. So when people go and pick out mushrooms and berries and things like that, they're just doing it from nature, just around, and not, it doesn't matter. They can just pull off of the side of the road and go do it. It's really, really cool. I think it's a fantastic law. So although Sweden is crazy expensive, and I deal with a lot of the expenses, those three I really like. By the way, guys, if you're loving this jacket and want to look as fly as I do, and you know, I'm a little bit Italian, so I like this Italian side of this. This jacket is 4,900 crowns. Yeah, I know it's a lot, I understand, but you get 20% off if you use the coupon code AndrewSpring. And that is, my friends, one hell of a deal. So 20% off, you get to look fly in this jacket. You're saving yourself 20%. And check out White & Taylor, put in a seat. It's a nice store to go to. Good fashion. As always, guys, if you like this one, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next, or jag ska se dig in the nästa video. Hej då. Jag ska prata mer svenska med dig.
Thank you.